There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. The corn is as high as an elephant's eye, and it looks like it's climbing clear up to the sky. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. All the cattle are standing like statues. All the cattle are standing like statues. They don't turn their heads as they see me ride by. But a little brown maverick is winking her eye. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. All the sounds of the earth are like music. All the sounds of the earth are like music. The breeze is so busy it don't miss a tree. And an old weeping willow is laughing at me. Come on, everybody. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. Oh, what a beautiful day. Okay. Well, it's the evening. It's not the morning. Is it beautiful? I don't know. You decide. But that's a beautiful song from Oklahoma, as it's pronounced. It's from the Rodgers and Hammerstein, or maybe it's pronounced Roger et Hammerstein. It's the Roger et Hammerstein, Oklahoma. Oklahoma. I'm going to guess that was 1943. Let me see. Oh, Oklahoma musical. And I was wrong. No, 1943. Look at that. March 31st, 1943, the first performance. Yes, Neuro, yes, to answer your question. Um, Absolutely. I just felt like singing that song. Oklahoma is the first musical written by the duo of Rodgers and Hammerstein. The music is based on Lynn Rigg's 1931 play. Does anyone know what the name of the play was? It was called Green Grow the Lilacs. I'm glad they changed it to Green Grow the Lilacs. I'm glad they changed it from. That was not as good a title as Oklahoma. Set in the farm country outside the town of Claremore, Indiana Territory in 1906, it tells Indian Territory. It tells the story of a farm girl, Lori Williams, and her courtship by two rival suitors, Cowboy Curly McLean and the sinister and frightening farmhand Judd Fry. That was the role I played. I did a production of this in the summer of 2000 in Virginia at the Ashlawn Highland Festival in Charlottesville, Virginia, where I spent that summer, and I was Judd. That's a fun part to play. Um, I probably mentioned this if we talked about this show before, but Judd has an aria. Judd has what feels like an aria in the Broadway musical. It's called Lonely Room. It's a brooding, lugubrious, saturnine, bilious, and splenetic aria. He's a man filled with longing, but he lacks the tools to express his feelings to his beloved. He's an angry brooder. You know, like an incel. He's basically the original incel, Judd Fry. So he sits in his smokehouse ruminating about this woman. He's a creep. But here's what they did. Here's what Hollywood, in all of its brilliance when it comes to marketing, when they made the movie, they cut that song. They cut that song because it wouldn't play. It wouldn't play among the, I don't know, 95% or 89% of the population that isn't filled with rage and horrible thoughts. I don't know. I don't know the exact percentage, but they decided to soften the show for Hollywood, and they got rid of that aria. But I recommend listening to it, looking it up. Maybe I'll sing it. Not tonight, but it's a fun number, as they used to call it. It's a nice number. The other show that I did, where they also cut the best song, which was the aria for my character, is the judge in Sweeney Todd, which is a role I got to do in a few productions. Real creep. He's like Judd, but if like the judge is like Judd, except without any kindness in his upbringing, just pure evil. He's kind of like an incestuous pedophile. He's a gross character, the judge, but it's a great character. It's incredible. It's beautifully written, and his song begins. His song involves self-flagellating. No, not flatulating. Flagellating. He's sort of peeping through a keyhole and whipping himself about his dirty thoughts. That's an aria. Guess what? That aria gets cut from a lot of productions. So there it is. They like to soften these shows for certain audiences to widen the appeal. And inevitably, whose solo gets cut when they want to do that? My solo. Stop cutting my solo. That's what I'm saying. All right. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Or morning. Morning. There's no G. There's an apostrophe where the G used to be. Rodgers and Hammerstein won a special Pulitzer Prize for Oklahoma in 1944. That was at the special Pulitzers. Like they have the Olympics and then the Special Olympics. This was at the Special Pulitzers. They won. No, I don't think it was that kind of special Pulitzer. The 1955 movie adaptation won an Oscar. I don't think it would have won an Oscar if they'd kept the Judd aria. What else can we tell you? I don't know that I need to tell you anything else about it. There's one thing that I love in this song. What's worse, asks our friend in Chicago. Flagellation, self-flagellation, or self-flatulence? Well, self-flagellation. I think self-flatulence is worse. Let me tell you why. Because if you're flagellating yourself, you're definitely not hurting anyone else. It's really contained to yourself. Self-flagellating. You say mea culpa, mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. If you're self-flagellating, you think you're just doing it to yourself, but the people around you in the coach section of that United Airlines flight to Cleveland, they're being hurt as well. You think you're just doing it to yourself, but you're not. Collateral damage in row 33. And an old weeping willow is laughing at me. But then that's the third verse. In the second verse it goes, but a little brown maverick is winking her eye. I think they wrote that into the score. When the maverick, when the little, I guess that's a little cow, when she's winking her eye, the music goes, there's a little ba-da-da, and a little brown maverick. I think that's supposed to go to a minor. A little brown maverick, little brown maverick. They leave out one chord here, one chord change, which I think, well, we'll figure out. I mean, I'll look that up. Little brown maverick is winking her eye. Oh, what a beautiful. And an old weeping, yeah, and then the weeping willow is laughing. And an old weeping willow is laughing at me. That's a great lyric. The weeping willow is laughing at me. Come on. Come on. Brilliant. Great show. I'm trying to think if I ever saw it. I was in it. I don't think I saw any of those revivals on Broadway, as they call it. You can tell people who are from New York and people who are of a different generation, they don't pronounce it Broadway. I mean, everybody knows that Houston Street, it's spelled Houston, but only someone who's not from New York would call it Houston Street. I have an interesting story about someone telling me it's pronounced Houston. I guess I should tell that story. Houston. I just got distracted by that Houston story, and I lost my. What was the other one that I was? Can someone cue me up? What was the pronunciation that I was just describing when I got distracted by Houston? It wasn't Oklahoma. All right, well, I'm going to tell that story. So I was in a production of, no, what was the other town I was just talking about where the pronunciation? Houston Street, Houston Street. No, not Houston and Houston. No, what was the pronunciation thing I was talking about right before then? Thank you for your help. Thank you for your help. I don't have a rewind button here. All right, let me tell the Houston Houston story, and then maybe someone will cue me up and remind me what the heck I was talking about. So I was in a production of a theater piece, a theater play, in which my character was talking about Houston Street, and he was an old guy, and he was a real New Yorker in this play. I had a director who was a little bit younger and was not from New York City, and she corrected me in rehearsal and told me that I was pronouncing the name of that street wrong. And I said, no, I know it's spelled Houston, but it's pronounced Houston. So that was the end of that discussion about it. But that director, the director who made that correction to me, this was in 1991. This was in 1991. That director now sits on the U.S. Supreme Court. Weirdly enough. That's a weird fact. All right. Boy, it's no, it wasn't Worcestershire. Worcestershire. All right, I have a few things I wanted to discuss tonight. Man, this is going to drive me nuts. That I can't remember what the heck I was talking about. And then when I go back and watch later, I'll see what it was. Everything's up to date in Kansas City. Kansas, that's a great song. That's maybe my favorite song from the show. All right. So, all right, here's some things I wanted to talk about tonight. I have a little list. Oh, Broadway. Thank you. Thanks, Mom. Thank you. Thank you, Mother, for coming to the rescue. And Father, you've said something like it's like a curse. You feel like casting a curse of a spell. Yeah, so Broadway, that's exactly what I was going to say. And in fact, Mom, it was you who I was thinking of. A real New Yorker of a certain generation doesn't pronounce Broadway Broadway. Broadway is not pronounced Broadway. It's pronounced Broadway. Broadway. I don't know when it changed, but the authentic old school pronunciation is Broadway. Like that's how my grandfather would say it. That's how my mom says it. Broadway. And I assume going back several generations beyond that, they called it Broadway. But maybe there was a time when it was Broadway and then it became Broadway for a while and now it's back to Broadway. Give my regards to Broadway. Remember me to Herald Square. Yes, Donde. Hello, everybody. Very nice to see you tonight. Oh, I forgot to mention this. Beep, 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 beep. This is my name. I am Ethan Hirschenfeld, and this is the nosho. This is the nosho for Thursday, the 18th of June. No, July. The 18th of July, 2024. Welcome. I'm here every night at 9. I went to that thing this afternoon that I mentioned last night, which was a summer market evening jamboree hootenanny festival fandango will o' the wisp for Sustainable Cape. Please look up Sustainable Cape. They do great work. Support them or support a farmer's market near you. Support the environment. Support both the biome and your microbiome. It's good for your gut and it's good for the guts of your community to support a farmer's market. Wah, 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 wah. Remember me to Herald Square. David says he's been driven here by that he who shall not be named. Yeah, I forgot that's even going on. Screw them. All right, that brings me to topic number 1. See, I have a little sheet. Normally I don't have a sheet, but I have a sheet tonight of what I'm going to talk about. It says fish, motive, my way. Okay, I'm going to start at the bottom of the list. My way. Here's my thesis for the night. My Way is a terrible song. And now the end is near. And so I face the final curtain. I did it my way. Screw you all. I did it my way. I do it my way. People don't like me, but I do it my way. I've alienated everybody, but they don't like me. My kids don't talk to me, but I did it my way. I'm estranged from everybody in my life, but I did it my way. Even here at the assisted living, the nurses won't come into my room. They leave a tray with the food outside of my door, but I did it my way. Screw you all. That's the subtext of that song. It's very obnoxious. It might be the most obnoxious of all songs. Let's read those lyrics for a second. Sinatra is obnoxious. It's actually the Italian word from the Latin root sina, which means obnoxious. Sinatra. Actually, anatra in Italian is a duck. Sinatra is an obnoxious duck. And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear. I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I've traveled each and every highway. I did it my way. He's an ass, this guy. I did it all. I charted every course. I spit it out. I chewed it up. I faced it. I stood tall. He's a chest-beating cretin. The song is, a man, what has he got? If not himself, then he has not. It's really just obnoxious. The record shows I took the blows and did it my way. What a creep. Thank you, Dave, in LA. I appreciate that. I think you might be right. All right. Okay, that's my way. I feel like I want to talk more about that song at some point. You know why I thought of it? Because at the event tonight, New York, New York came on. And I don't like that song. It's obnoxious. It's just one of these chest-beating braggadocio. It's sort of, the subtext is New York is incredible. New York is incredible. And I'm incredible because I'm from New York or I live in New York. It's just obnoxious. Don't get me wrong. Sinatra's voice, when he was young, very nice. Wonderful singer. But that kind of attitude. It's very, I feel like it's much of what's wrong with white men of a certain age. It's an entitlement. It's nostalgia for days that were bad for everyone else. It's just yucky. It's Archie Bunker. Like, My Way should be Archie Bunker's theme song. Okay, enough. Okay. Motive. Okay, I want to talk about motive. I listened to a little bit of NPR today and a little bit of something else, and they're talking about motive. We're trying to figure out the motive. What was the motive? What was the motive? Who cares what the motive is? I don't care. I don't care. When any one of these young, disaffected, violent, psychopathic, white kids with access to high-powered firearms shoots people, whether it's school kids or shoppers or Las Vegas concert goers or politicians, I don't care what their motive is. Their motive is that they're psychopathic and they're violent and they have access to these guns. That's it. It doesn't matter. All of this discussion is a complete distraction from what matters, which is that we shouldn't have guns. We shouldn't have this many guns, absolutely. And it's a distraction from what's going on, actually, that's really critical to the lives of millions and possibly billions of people in our politics, that this very important decision has to be made. This other stuff is a complete distraction and a sideshow. Oh, what were the security breakdowns? Who cares? It doesn't matter. We're not military or security tacticians. It doesn't matter. Someone screwed up. Okay. But it's a distraction. It's a waste of time. There's important things for people to be thinking about. Which brings me to the final topic in this triumvirate, in this triptych of important subjects I wanted to cover tonight. This is the subject of fish in obituary photos. Fish in obituary photos. It happened twice recently. The firefighter who was killed on Saturday, and then a tech entrepreneur who took his own life, I think today or yesterday. the photo that they ran with the obituary happened to be a photo of the deceased holding a fish that he had just caught, on the dock or in the boat. It's a photo of the smiling deceased person proudly holding a fish that they had just caught. It just seems wrong in every single way that the photo you would run of the person who's just lost their life contains both another dead being and also a being that person, a being whose life has just moments before been taken by the deceased. This person died. Now let's run a photo of them holding a thing that they've just killed. It seems wrong. I feel like there might be a joke somewhere in there, but jokes aside, leave the dead fish out of the obit photos is what I'm saying. If any newspaper editors are watching, if any obituary editors are watching, or if anyone's watching who plans on ever having an obituary written about themselves, or if you have a loved one, maybe put that in writing. Please, when you publish my obit, do not run a photo of me with a dead fish. No dead fish in the obit photos. That's my wish. It's also not nice that then there's no obit of the fish. It's an obit, but you don't say anything about the fish. Maybe that's the joke. At least a word about the fish, like seen here with a fish. Like, at least say something about the fish. She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. Jill Lewis says, this vegan concurs. Yeah, it's definitely a vegan concept on some level. She'll be coming around the mountain. Oh, look, I'm wearing a name tag because I was at this event. I put it back on for the show. And then someone came into a store. I went into a store after the event just to eat some unhealthy snack food after all that healthy, organic farm food. And there it is, Mary. That's it. The obit of the person and then a mini obit in a little side box of the fish. There it is. We got there. So I was in a store and then some guy walks in with a little dog and he says, "Can I bring my dog in here?" And I said, "Yeah, I think so." And he said, "Yeah, because you're wearing a name tag." And then, now that I'm looking at it, I kind of look like a guy who works in a gas station. The shirt has that color and there's the name tag. So I said to the guy, "Yeah, you can bring your dog. I don't work here, but you can bring your dog in." That's my advice. If anyone ever comes into a store and mistakes you for staff and asks you if they can do something, just say yes. Yeah, a fish obit. That would be good. Just a separate newspaper for all the fish. By the way, I'm reading a really good book right now. I'm going to wrap things up, but I'm reading a really good book. It's Just Say Yes. Exactly, Dave. That's what I'm talking about. Just say yes. I'm just making sure. Yeah. In My Time of Dying. That's what I'm reading. In My Time of Dying, How I Came Face to Face with the Idea of an Afterlife by Sebastian Junger. It's a short little memoir of a traumatic series of events. It's fascinating and it's moving and it's just great. It's called In My Time of Dying. Hang in there. I'm doing great, but thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Let's all hang in there. Hang in there. All right, here we go. We're going to close out the show with a tune. I just have to figure out what tune. Oh, that's a good one. This is an important one. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We shall. What's going to happen next? There's 4 verses. I'm going to only do 2. Oh my gosh, there's 7 verses there. Oh, there it is. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. All right, we shall overcome. Musical and lyric. Oh, so it's inspired by African American gospel singing. Members of the Food and Tobacco Workers Union, Charleston, South Carolina, and the Southern Civil Rights Movement. Musical and lyrical adaptation by Zilphia Horton, Frank Hamilton, Guy Caravan, and Pete Seeger. Copyright 1960. All right, we shall overcome. Let's all overcome. Everyone, please have a restful and peaceful evening, and I will see you back here tomorrow night at 9. Feel free to share this with any of your Sinatra fan friends. This has been the No Show. Thanks for being here.